Hello, welcome to Conrad with a K. My name is Conrad. It's spelled with a K. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all the things. If you want to follow me on Instagram and you're watching on YouTube, here's the fucking QR code. If you're listening on Spotify, you want to follow me on Instagram, KonradAndRSON. Let's get into it. Starting off the top, Canada's corruption update. We got another floor crosser, people. Democracy is dead in this country. When they can just swap sides randomly for whatever back deal they want, our votes literally mean nothing. I didn't think I'd have to be doing another floor crosser video this soon. I thought like it'd be a couple months, but you know, when you're the premier of a territory that literally brings nothing to the table and your son's a aggressive pedophile, you're gonna make a deal. You're not really one to be trusted. I don't even understand how she got voted in the first place. If you raise somebody who's able to be that much of a pedophile, you're clearly not a good person. Like, you want to blame all white people for the crimes of a few, then I think it's very fair to blame the mother of a pedophile for raising a pedophile. If that's how you want to judge white people, then let's judge everybody on the same merit, all right? And that's clearly going to be part of the backroom deal. Watch this story. CBC will never even touch it. They're state propaganda. The fact that if anyone even watches CBC anymore, you're absolutely brainwashed and a shill, and you always will be. You're a lost cause if you still watch the CBC. I'm a comedian, and I know I'll never be successful in this country because I won't ever work with the CBC, ever. And that's the only thing we have going here, unless you can make enough money to get out of the country. So I'm just stuck with this, and besides, once they pass C9, I'll probably just be going to jail for this. So there's not really a good outlook for doing this other than hoping to God one day it wakes up enough people. Like I said, probably won't happen in my lifetime. I really hope it does, but it probably won't. People in this country seem to want to see how bad it will get before they want to fight. But that's the corruption. We got a pedophile lover, because she clearly loves her son. So we got a pedophile lover who swapped sides in the government to give the Liberals their majority. Not technically, because they still have to pass their 2 by-elections from Freeland and whoever that other, the speaker or whatever. But those are heavily Liberal ridings. So unless we have a miraculous turnout of young conservatives, but even that, the conservative system's just as fucked. Like, they're all backroom. Like, the whole system has been corrupted. It's all fucked. We need a whole new one. This one's crime and justice reform. So let's get into the crime and justice reform, all right? Because the Liberals have done really nothing to help anybody in this country except for taking away our personal liberties and freedoms. That's all they've been working towards. And when you see a government that's doing that, it's clearly a tyrannical government. They're clearly working towards a tyrannical goal. So you don't even have to read a history book, all right? I know I say on these episodes every once in a while, I'll read a fucking book or something like that. YouTube has documentaries where you can just listen to the audiobook. Some of them are even turning the books into AI so you can watch a little video and story. Just do some history learning of any kind, please, I beg of you. History repeats itself because people don't keep up on reading it and watching for it. And once you start reading history, literally keeps repeating itself. That's why I am hopeful for a revolution, because I go through history and I've seen it happen many, many times. People do come together when shit does get bad enough and fucking rise up. It's happened every time throughout society. That's why I'm hoping we could do it again. Canada, a lot of soft bitches here, so we'll see. But dear God, I hope. Dear God, I hope. But what has the Liberal government done? Well, in 2015, the Anti-Terrorism Act. This bill generated broad powers to secure agencies to disrupt potential threats, which critics argued violated privacy rights and the right to protest, while some provisions later amended by subsequent governments. And that one was in 2015. Right after that, we had COVID, well, not right after 5 years, but then we had COVID and we had the trucker rally. That's when they brought in the Emergencies Act against their own people. Clearly unlawful, has been said that in the Supreme Court. Clearly unlawful. They took private citizens' money, bank accounts, put them in jail, all for having a protest. We're supposed to be allowed to do that. No one was fucking hurting anybody. And you're allowed to go protest in the streets saying death to Canada and that you support fucking Hamas and all these terrorist organizations, but you can't be in a trucker rally and say you want to protect your own country. That's where they call you a fucking terrorist. And that divided the country. There was half the country was like, fucking kill all these people, and the other half was like, we need to stand with these people. And still nothing got done. Still no revolution happened. So it's gonna have to take an awful lot to get bad. Bill C9, the Online Streaming Act, which now encompasses podcasts and YouTube shows and any kind of online content as being under the CRTC guideline now and under criminal code. So now we can be charged for what you're putting out on a show. You can go to jail for that. Then you add that with the Online Harms Act, where to quote, bill aims to regulate online content with critics warning it could create a chilling effect on free speech. Heavily criticized for proposing severe penalties including life imprisonments for hate-motivated crimes, which could be broadly applied, and preemptive measure crimes. So because I say I want to have a revolution and save this country, they can say I'm inciting hate and put me in jail for life. Essentially what they're getting at. And then the C9, combating online hate speech, that just cracks down on it even more. Like, you're not allowed to talk about any kind of immigrant now. That's hateful, that's racist, that's bigoted. Like, we're policing people's feelings. We're policing people's words, feelings, and thoughts. These are all signs of a tyrannical government. They have been, if you do any research. And tyrannical governments, people seem to, like, I don't understand how people think Nazis are far right. Nazis are socialism. That's National Socialist Party. Communism is socialism. You guys are both on the same side. So when you have one side calling one side Nazis and the other side calling the other side communists, which I still call people communists because they're fucking communists, and communists are fucking retarded. Nazis are as well, but at least Nazis had free market. Like, if you look at the fucking stats on paper, Russia, communism, tanked. Germany, before he got killed and like doing other atrocious things, economy through the roof. So one side's better than the other, you know? They're both horrible, but one side is better than the other. They're both on the same side. So that's how that works. So that all they have been doing is taking away our rights and freedoms. Well, like I said on the immigration episode yesterday, giving immigrants light sentences to not disrupt their asylum claims or their refugee claims. Because if they get a sentence over 6 months, then they get deported. I say, deport them. If your second chance is escaping your country, we gave you a chance in our country to come here, work hard, and make a better life for yourself, and possibly bring your family here, or if you were able to bring your family with you the first time, even better. But we gave you that chance. You came here, and you threw that away by breaking the law. There's a lineup of people wanting to come into this country. So if you come here, you don't follow our laws, you get deported, and we let someone else have a shot. We don't give you second, third, fourth, fifth chance at assimilating here. You get one. If you don't assimilate and you break our laws, get the fuck out. That should be pretty self-explanatory. So they're giving immigrants lighter sentences. They're giving every criminal lighter sentences, and the bond or the bail program is a joke because people get arrested and they're out on bail within 2 hours, no matter how many times. There was one guy in Vancouver, he was arrested like 5 times in the same day. Like, he would get released and go get arrested again, get released, get arrested again. And they say this is compassionate. Why are we being compassionate to criminals over law-abiding citizens? You're putting everyone at danger for no reason other than to break the system and destroy the country's ability to trust the justice system, so that when you offer them your little AI package of justice, everyone screams and wants it. How else do you get people to move on to a new system? Destroy the old one. So you have to make sure that no one has faith in the justice system anymore, which is sad that they would do that, but are you really surprised? When has the government ever looked out for us? When have they ever done anything that actually benefited us? It's all to control us, it's all to take away our rights, and it's all for them to get more money. They are very nefarious people. They are not our friends. They do not like us. And they have shown that time and time again. So, and like, I have friends who are RCMP officers, and they are frustrated because they're arresting the same people. I have friends who are prosecutors. They have a slam dunk case, and they are going in. They win the case. They know, hands down, I got this shit on lock. And then the judges go, oh, yeah, no, he definitely raped that girl. He's an immigrant though, 4 months. Yeah, we'll just give him 4 months. And he rapes her again and gets her pregnant and keeps kidnapping her and she's only 13. Well, that sucks to be her, you know, but we just don't want to offend him. Offend him? Fucking kill him. What are we doing here? I thought we were supposed to protect women and children. That's what I was told my whole life growing up as a kid, and what I've taken with me as an adult through life is you protect women and children. No one seems to care about women and children anymore. And then you have fucking feminists convinced that letting people whose whole culture is that you don't have rights, you are just a hole for us to put babies into, and that's all you're useful for. You're like a piece of meat in an animal. You think those are your allies. How fucking retarded are you? And then you read a stat and you go, well, there's no rape in Pakistan. Look, they have 0 rapes. Yeah, because women don't have the ability to say no. So therefore, rape isn't a crime if you're not allowed to say no. If saying no means absolutely nothing, of course it's not rape. No rape happened. Well, she said no, that's not rape. That's just a little extra fun on the end of it. That's what they think. So all these feminists, you guys are fucking retarded. And they will kill you first, or they will just throw you in the fucking curtains and keep you locked in the house for the rest of your life. Either way, I'm sick of all these protesters who do 0 research and have no idea how these people live on the other side of the planet. I don't even need to get into all of the aspects of the Canadian justice system. If you think our justice system is working in even the slightest bit, you're a fool. Everyone I've talked, no one thinks our justice system is good. No one thinks it's working. It's all about changes. Those are what I just wanted to touch on. So people do see the tyrannical processes coming in and how they're trying to strip it away. Plus they're trying to take our guns, saying Canadians with guns are bad, but immigrants with guns, those are good. We need those in the military. Fuck off. We're not that stupid. Just like a couple years ago when you guys tried telling us growing our own vegetables is bad for the environment and we should just buy factory vegetables from the store. Shut the fuck up. We don't listen to you anymore. You guys are fucking retarded. And you may have dumbed down a lot of the population, but you haven't dumbed down all of us. Alright? So, that part's done. Now we get into the changes. It's really not that hard to fix the justice system in Canada. First things first, just start enforcing the laws. Just start enforcing it. How do we get them enforced though? Because like I said, I have friends that are RCMP officers. They're doing their work. They're making the arrests. They're bringing it to the prosecution. The prosecution's doing their work. They're putting together a great case. They're going into court. They're winning. They win the court case. The judges, though. The judges are the ones letting these people go because judges get discrepancy and get to take it apart on how it affects this person in the community. That's not your role as a judge. As a judge, your job is to sentence, is to set the parameters of incarceration. You're not there to play God. You're not there to prove innocence or fucking prove guilty. That's what they're proving to you. You are there to hear it and go, yep, he's guilty. This is how much time he's doing. All right? You're not supposed to factor in any outside circumstances. You factor in the aspects of that case. And that case alone determines how much time he does. Not his race, not his gender, not anything like that. None of his physical properties affect his sentencing. What crime did he do? That's how long you go to jail for. And that's what I would like to implement in the new country to take this problem away from judges. We don't let them have the discrepancy to set how long someone goes to jail for. You steal a car, you found guilty, first time, 2 years. Second time, 5 years. Third time, 10 years. Fourth time, 25 years. It's a sliding scale and it's not it's not 5 years for one of these sentences. 2 years for the first time. 5 years for the second time. You go through and you set firm stances on how long someone fucking spends in jail, and then you enforce it. And if you have a judge who tries to find some sort of loophole and their way through to give someone a lighter sentence, then that person that he gives a lighter sentence to is now beholden to that judge. So if that judge gives him a lighter sentence and that guy gets out and commits a crime again, now that judge gets to be tried for that crime as well. That holds them accountable. If you thought this guy wasn't a threat to reoffend and you want to put him back out in public, then you're being held to that account as well. So now if he goes out and kills somebody, you're both on for murder because you decided he wasn't going to be a threat. And if your judgment is the one that's being relied on to keep our community safe, then you have to be held responsible as well. Because without accountability, you get to live in la land where you're making a private community, thinking you're doing so good morally for the communities by letting these people out. Meanwhile, you're making it completely unsafe for the middle class and everyone trying to get ahead. So judges, it won't be an AI judge per se, but it'll be strict timelines for every sentence, for every crime. We will have to go through and spend some time to set all of these terms for crimes and make sure what we think. But we need to do that and not rely on the hands of judges because judges clearly can be corrupted, all right? Fixing homelessness. That's a big problem. Homelessness does account for a lot of crime. I'm not going to lie. I live in Kelowna and we have a fucking tent city like you would not believe. The fent nods are all over the place. It's not a pretty sight. It's actually quite disturbing, and these safe consumption sites have never been safe. The fact that we pay to give people drugs with our tax money is absolutely retarded. I don't care how much of a bleeding heart you want to have. I have lived in these places with the safe consumption sites. It's not safe. They leave their needles everywhere. You're putting them right next to parks. So again, you're prioritizing criminals over children. Where do you get off on that? You want to have a safe consumption site? Build a fucking farm. Let them all go there and do drugs. Out of town. Out of the way of everyone else in society. Alright? You don't build the safe consumption sites in a city. You build them away from the public, so you draw the homeless away. You don't draw more homeless people into an area. How fucking stupid are you guys? Alright? But at the end of the day, someone needs to come in and overhaul the entire system. I've had a plan for about 8 fucking years on how to fix the homeless. We arrest every single homeless person. Every single homeless person. If you can prove that you have a job and you're just down your luck living in your car and you're just looking for a place to live, showering at the Y or whatever, you don't go to jail. That's fine. I've done that before. I've had to live in my car. So that's not the homelessness. To me, that's not homelessness. You have a car. That's a home. You're not sleeping out on the street, leaving needles laying around or anything. I'm talking straight up homelessness. You arrest every single one of them and you put them away for 5 years. All right? You can build a facility, do whatever you want, but you put them away 5 years. The first 2 years, they're in treatment. They're learning how to get clean, make them find Jesus or something. I don't give a fuck how you do it. But they don't get to touch drugs at all for 2 years. They get them perfectly clean. After 2 years, all of their withdrawal symptoms are gone, and they can make them start doing physical weights, make them start being productive throughout the jail. The next 2 years of that sentence, whatever skills we need in society, which I realize are going to be very skewed because AI is coming at a rapid rate and will destroy a lot of these jobs and purpose for a lot of people, and they're trying to make you not worry about it and go, no, things will be fine, things will be fine. It won't be fine. When do they ever told us the truth? All they ever do is lie to us till the panic actually happens, and then they deal with it there after they've already gotten themselves to safety. So they're just lying to us. It isn't going to be okay. There's going to be billions of people with no purpose anymore on this planet. It's going to be horrendous. So whatever skills we need in society at that time, whether it be construction laborers, whether it be anything, whatever the skill is that needs filled, the next 2 years of that sentence, those people are learning those skills. And then the 5th year, after they've learned their work experience and whatever skills they're going to need to come into the new society, the 5th year is getting reintroduced to all the technology, all the changes that have come through technology and that they're going to be faced with once they get on the outside. So it's not so overwhelming. So as soon as they get free, they don't just go, holy shit, what the fuck am I living in? What happened? And then they go right back to drugs and being homeless. So it's a 5-year plan, 2 years to get clean, 2 years to learn a skill, 1 year to learn technology, and then you get back in society. So that's how you fix homelessness. And then you just keep that process. So if there's people who get into drugs and they start becoming homeless, you see them on the street, they get arrested, they get put in the program to nip it in the butt right away. And then they're in for 5 years, they come out. And then if they break it again after 5 years, they just can't handle it. They're doing drugs and all that. We need mental institutions. We should never have shut mental institutions down. They provided a great service for society. You wonder why all these blue-haired people with the fucking metal faces just done up and the colorful hair and the screaming, they're on antidepressants, all of them are on SSRIs. They don't know how to make sense. They don't have any logic. They're emotional terrorists because they can't absorb any of their emotions. All they do is react. They just hear something and they freak out at all times. Those are the people that are supposed to be in mental institutions. Those are the people with mental disabilities that if they take their medicine, they can be regular people. But we can't trust them to take their medicine. Therefore, they live in the mental institution, and you have people who are hired to take care of them, who make sure they take their meds, and when they don't, they know how to deal with them properly. This is not an inhumane practice. As people, we are always going to have outliers of bad and good, of like extremes. And then most people are in the middle. So yeah, when you have mental institutions back in the 90s, 80s, 70s, whatever, I'm sure there was a couple here and there that were doing horrendous experiments on people and just treating people like garbage. I'm not going to say there isn't, because I know how people are. That makes complete sense that there are some people doing that. What doesn't make sense is that you shut down the entire industry because of a couple bad people. You should bring in more strict policing, like having more checks done on these establishments if that's what happens. But you shouldn't shut down the entire industry because now these people are in public. You wonder why the rise in school shootings. No one's in fucking mental institutions anymore. If you lock these fucking kids up in a mental institution when they're showing crazy ass signs, we probably not have as many dead kids out there. But everyone wants to focus on the guns. Nope, the guns are the issue. The guns are the bad thing. We must shut those down and take those away. It could never be the mental illness that's prevalent in all of these people. Dear God, how could that be a thing? We need mental institutions to come back. And guess what? It also creates jobs. They could be taken by AI in the future, but we can also make laws that cap the amount of AI employees these businesses are allowed to use. This is something that I've heard in the government talk about yet. How are there no laws yet against capping workforces at like a 5, a 10, or 15% AI work base? Because if you don't put those restrictions in, as soon as it's remotely capable, you're gone. You're fired. You're going to lose your fucking job, and then that's going to increase crime. So we need to put in a law that limits the use of AI in businesses, at least for some time. Like, do 5 years, you can only have 10%. After that, you can go up 2%. You can go, and like gradual increases of AI employees or something, so that you can train people to have different jobs or become functioning in other ways for society. I'm not exactly sure how, because I'm more focused on fixing the now, so that we don't all end up as slaves under the elite in a dystopian AI digital world. That terrifies me. Being locked down in a 15-minute city for the rest of my life and not having any way to move and not being able to think or talk or speak how I like. I realize I'm not brilliant, but I do like to have an opinion, and I am able to think, and I do kind of like that. So I don't want any of that shit to happen. So I can't really tell exactly how the future is going to go, but I do know it's not going to be good if we let them have their way. The MAID program, at first glance, when it first started, was a nice thing. Compassionate care. These people are in extreme pains, extreme diseases, and they want to die with dignity. They don't want to wither away till they're shitting in bags and having their family members clean them up and wheel them around. They can't talk anymore. That's what it was like built as. Like, we're going to do this compassionately for these people. Why are we making these people suffer? Everyone was behind that. No one wants to see someone suffer. But now we're fucking deleting 26-year-old kids who are a little unhappy, a little depressed. 26-year-old, fuck them. We can just take them out with the MAID program. Like, what? How is this a program that gets Canadian tax dollars put towards it? This should be a pay program. If you want to kill yourself, pay to fucking do it. You're going to die anyways. What the fuck are you keeping your money for? The government should not be paying for this. If you want an assisted suicide death, fucking 10 grand to kill yourself. You don't need your fucking money anymore. But guess what? You could buy a gun and a bullet for about $150 and do it yourself. Pretty self-explanatory. We don't need a government-funded program, millions of dollars a year to kill people. People can kill themselves very easily. Now we get into the fun ones. Heavy charges. Like I said, we're going to have to go through all of the crimes and like attribute sentencing for each one. But there are a few that don't require sentencing at all. If you touch a kid, you die. Like I said, I was taught to protect children and protect women. So if you're a child molester, you're a child pornographer, you do anything that fucks with children, child trafficking, any of it, you fucking die. All right? That's a death penalty. That's a public execution death penalty, because I think we should bring public executions back. I think without having public executions, or at least the ability to be a public execution, like aired on TV with a warning, so-and-so under so many ages don't watch, or whatever, just like they do for any TV show. But people have forgotten and gotten too loose with breaking the law because they know that they're not going to be put to death anymore. That was a deterrent for a lot of people. You take that away, it's not that bad to live in jail. 3 square meals, cable, warmth, bed. Maybe you get fucked in the ass every once in a while. But hey, you're still alive. So once you take that deterrent away, the threat of punishment really isn't that bad. And there's some crimes that are going to be on that. Touching kids, you get to die. If you murder somebody, you get to die. We're not going to keep you on death row or in jail forever on taxpayer dollars, letting you live out your life, somehow convincing people's minds that it's more of a punishment to live in a cage than to not be living at all. No, it's not. You're still alive. The people who lost somebody would much rather you be fucking dead. So that's what we're going to do. You kill somebody, you die. If it was an accident, that'll be proven in court, and you won't die. But if it's first degree, second degree, any of it, I don't care. You die. Oh, it was a heat of the moment. She cheated on me. I lost my temper. Sucks to suck. Have more emotional control. Don't fucking kill people. Corruption, death penalty. You need that, all right? The root of all evil is corruption. If you believe the Bible, there were 2 people on the planet. One of them got corrupted right away, all right? Corruption is the root of all evil on the planet. No one is immune to it. I wouldn't be immune to it. That's why I don't want to be the one who actually runs the country. I want to help design it, but I don't want to have to actually run the country. I know me, and power would corrupt me. So sometimes you just got to take yourself out of the equation on these things. You have to be self-aware. So corruption gets the death penalty because it's inherent in all of us. And even with it being the death penalty, that will only deter people for so long. Someone will still try to corrupt the system, and someone eventually will still figure out a way to corrupt the system. The only thing we can do is try to provide laws and rules that prevent that for as long as possible. Because democracy is easily corruptible. It has been throughout history. And once you corrupt it once, there's kind of a blueprint for how do you corrupt it a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And it just keeps getting repeated through every civilization. So we need to do our best to enact laws to stop the corruption before it becomes a problem. That is what I will try to do with those laws. However, like I said, innately, we are a corrupt being. We want shortcuts, we want all the money, we want greed. This is why there's religion, to help people try to live under a more holistic and helpful banner of helping other people over themselves. But unfortunately, a lot of people only want to help themselves. And that's fair, that's fine. I was like that for a long time. I put my head in the sand. I was trying to be a comedian 10 years, head in the game, building, trying, hustling, being ignorant to the politics, thinking. I used to love politics as a kid, then I got ignorant, going, it's all fucking corrupt. It doesn't matter. It's never going to change. And now I've realized, ever since just before COVID, things are changing, but they're changing for the worst, and they're changing quickly, and it's time to wake up. So I'm not blaming anyone who's still trying to be ignorant or just doesn't want to deal with it because it's depressing and sad, and what can I ever do? You need to wake up. You need to share videos like this. Maybe not mine. Make your own. Be more entertaining. That's fine. But spreading awareness, making sure that people know there are other options out there. All right? If we don't come together, the people always have the power. When people say this is the way the system is and you just have to work within it, you don't. You really don't. The system is the way it is because we let it be that way. We are the ones in control. We have the mass number of people, all right? We control the country. The only reason the country is in as bad a spot as it is because we have let it get there, all right? Through apathy, through ignorance, that it is on us. We have let this happen. We can blame it on the government all we want. I do. Everyone else does because they're the ones making the rules. But at the end of the day, we're the ones that let it get there. Millennials as a whole, we know the system's broken our whole lives, so we just haven't voted. So like I said in one of, I think, first episode, maybe the second episode, we're sitting at 12% of the population of Canada making choices for the whole province because everyone is so disillusioned from the system already. But everyone just wants to bitch. No one wants to come up with a new system. I'm trying, all right? I need help though, people. I'm not able to do it alone. I'm not that smart. I'm not that good at marketing. Not that attractive. I'm a little fat right now. So we need other people sharing and making videos and doing the message and coming together and just letting people know that there is another plan, all right? It may not be the best plan, but there is at least a plan for a new country and for a revolution if they just would listen and watch. So that's corruption. Oh, rape. That's a serious crime. And this is a sketchy issue. I'm not 100% sold on even my own plan yet for it because it is pretty evasive, but at the same time, there are certain extremes that need to be taken in certain instances, which I think, given the climate of society where we're heading with AI versus what we have with the technology that's available right now, I think this is a better way than what they're going to do with AI. So, and hear me out on this. I know this might sound crazy. What they plan for AI is they're going to scan everything about your life, your face, your breathing, your heart, fucking palpitations. They'll have everything, your eye dilations, everything you've ever said online, everything you've ever bought, and they are listening with every device. So that's how they plan to monitor you. And then if you say I got raped, they will go to that night and they will pull back every recording, every video footage, every surveillance, everything around there, and hope that they can catch the guy on video if there's any video. But like, they want to do it through complete and total control of surveillance. I don't want to be completely, totally controlled, surveilled my entire life. I would rather have, when you're born, or like have everyone just give their DNA sample. You have a collective directory, and then the DNA samples are there. They don't have to monitor your entire life and know every aspect of you being surveilled to know what you're doing. They just have your DNA. If you commit a rape, you go run the rape kit, they test the DNA, your DNA is in the system, they can get a conviction. You still have to have the trial, but I do think that having a general database of the DNA systems would help, and it would be better than being surveilled. It's still not a great system, and I realize that that's still going to be against a lot of people's morals and codes. I get it. I'm open to suggestions, but there does need to be something that is better, a better way to go about it, so that people can feel safe in reporting it, because just ignoring it doesn't help. And if we just ignore it, we're definitely not going to get women's support for the revolution, which you're going to go, well, women aren't going to be fighting anyways. No, probably not. It's a men's job, but we do need, like, guess who are nurses? Women are nurses, and if it comes to a point where we actually have to violently fight, there's going to be some injuries, some casualties. We're going to need some nurses. We're going to need some people taking care of us. We're going to need women that support us. And if we're at least trying to come up with a database to instill faith into a system, a new system that they can rely on and feel safe and protected in, without everybody having to be surveilled constantly all the time, I think that's a pretty good system. And it needs to be everybody. So we need a system that works to protect the people. Everything needs to be to protect the people. And finally, this is for non-violent offenses, meaning not violent offenses, just you stole a car not with someone in it, like you just broke the window, stole the car, or whatever, you stole things. You still going to prison, don't get me wrong, but in order to help get projects done for the government, I think prisoners should be offered the choice of a work camp or a regular prison. And you could have it set up as that would be, and we have it in our laws, in our justice system, for the sentencing committees, where you could do, say you're going to get 10 years in a regular prison. You could say, all right, I do 10 years regular prison, my 3 meals, whatever, my $1 a day for making license plates, whatever the fuck it is. I do 10 years of that. No fucking early release, no nothing. People get sentenced to their time, they do their fucking time. I could choose to go to a work camp where you're going to be building new highways, you're going to be building overpasses, you're maybe going to be doing farming, you're going to be doing physical, hard labor jobs that need to get done. And in exchange, instead of doing 10 years, now you do 7 years, but you're doing 7 years of hard labor, fucking 10, 12 hours a day. And you don't get to pick and choose, like, I'll do 1 year of this, 1 year of this, 1 year of this. That's not how if you pick prison camp, you do prison camp. If you pick regular prison, you pick regular prison. I think that having that two-tiered system of prison and offering people who are non-violent offenders the opportunity to get out earlier by doing work that benefits the country, as opposed to just sitting in a cell getting raped, would be a beneficial add to society. So the government doesn't care about us. The government has purposely destroyed our justice system to destroy our faith in it so that they can bring in their Palantir state, drone surveillance, AI courts, and all of that for the future. I don't want that. So this episode has gone through all the ways to have a justice system work for the people without that. And we touched on enforcing laws, fixing homelessness, bringing back mental institutions, the death penalty for corruption, public executions, set prison sentences, not letting judges have the discretion, and then the work camps. All of those things we have discussed. All of those things are principles for a new system of justice in the new country, that if you just enforce it, you'd be surprised at how well people have faith in the system. If when people break the law, you actually just put them in jail. That would just go a long way in itself. You don't even need to do the other ones on the list if you don't want to. All you really need to do is just enforce the laws that we have. It's really not that hard to fix the system. But I do like a lot of my ideas. I really do like the prison camp one. I don't want surveillance. I don't really want a DNA database, but also at the same time, if there is a DNA database, that would help us solve a lot of crimes. It would help with murders. It would help with everything. If you just had someone's DNA, because there's a lot of time where you don't have the DNA. Like, you have it on the scene, but you don't have it in the system. Those are my ideas. How to reform the crime and justice in New Canada. That was the show. I am Conrad, your host. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you again for listening, and make sure to share, like, subscribe, all the things, man. Let's start a revolution.